Hello Math 20, welcome to Lesson 2 with Reasoning with Angles and Triangles. So today we're going to look at angles and parallel lines. So to take a look at our first page here, all it's doing is I strongly suggest you guys to do this, is just making conjectures about parallel lines and following through. Okay, so if you were to follow this and you make this here, we have one straight line, and these lines here are all parallel, right? If you were to use a straight edge. So basically, this angle here must be the same as this angle here, must be the same as this angle here. This is a straight line. Every angle is going to be parallel. So if you go through that, it'll try and explain it a little bit more. Here we go. So we're going to first do the first class example here. It says, use corresponding angles and straight lines to calculate the angles marked by letters. Well, here we go. We look at this line here, and we look at this line here. These two lines are parallel to each other. Okay? How do we know that? There's a little tick that denotes they're parallel right there. That tick tells me that they are parallel. Then, if we move these lines up and down perfectly, they will go over top of each other. So in other words, this angle here is the same as this angle here. We could figure that out by, if I just shift this line up on top, it would be the exact same angle. So then angle A is equal to 120 degrees. Well, if you remember from last class, what does a straight line equals 180? So angle B plus angle A must equal to 180. Right? So angle B plus A is equal to 180. Now if we just want to know what B is, we could just write angle B is equal to 180 subtract angle A. Well, angle A, how do I get that? We just subtract A from both sides. So what we do to one side must do to the other. So now, when we look at this, we are going to get 180 subtract. Well, we said angle A was 120. So therefore, angle B is going to be equal to 60 degrees. Okay? And that's how we do that. I'm just going to zoom in so you can see my work a bit better. Alright, now, let's take a look at the next one here. It looks a lot more complicated. But once again, we have two parallel lines that are denoted by those little arrows. These two lines are parallel to each other. Okay? So, this is going to be, if we shift this line up, which angle is going to match up with this? Or we shift this down, this line here down. If I shift this line down, which angle is going to match up? This C will match up. If I shift this up, this C will match up with the 124. So angle C is equal to 124 degrees. Now let's look at this 132. Which one matches this 132? Is it F? No. F would be on top here. This would have to be angle E. So E is equal to 132 degrees. Now, here's the tricky part. I like to, whenever I can, you guys will have tests and stuff and your books, I'm going to turn this around and look at this from a different angle. So now I'm looking at it like this. I'm just going to erase this temporarily. Now, this here is a straight line, and I have an angle on my straight line. If you look, this is my angle off of this straight line. Well, remember what we learned last class? Straight line and angles. So I have F and E. F plus E must equal to 180. Because it's a straight line, there's an angle. So we go back, F plus E is equal to 180. But we know that E is equal to 132. So let's go back. So we know F is equal to 180 minus E. And F then is equal to 180 minus 132, which is equal to which is equal to, we're going to get 48 degrees. Okay, so now let's take a look at the next one. Same thing is right here if we look at C and D. We know angle C. We see a straight line here. If I rotate this like so and go that way, here is a straight line. And this angle here, well, is an angle in the straight line. So we know D and C must add up to 180. Okay? So we're going to put that right here. So we know D and C must add up to 180. So then we know C, so then D is equal to 180 subtract C. Continue with that. We are going to get 180 subtract, and C was 124. 124. Okay, continue this, and we will get 56 degrees. And there we go. So now we're done that one. Now this next part here is going to start explaining. I'll just zoom out a bit. This next part here is going to start explaining Zedd angles. So if we look at this here, I just always extend this, right? And if we extend this line, it goes like that. We extend that line, it goes like that. This and this is 50. Well, this and this is 50. Right? Because remember that if we have two straight lines, conversely, what happens? If we have two straight lines that intersect each other, opposite, this is from me last lesson, the opposite or vertically opposite angles, so from the vertex, the angle opposite is going to be equal, so this is 50 as well. Now if I shift this line up, this 50 matches with that A, this 50 matches with that. So this A must be 50. Okay? They kind of show it here and explain it a little bit more. They just extended that. This is 50, that's 50. Well, this matches that there perfectly. Okay? And here they have you to measure and find out if that's true. But we're going to skip ahead and look at this next example. We're going to look at class example 2. Okay. So, here we have two parallel lines. I'm going to put the parallel lines in green. One parallel line, two parallel lines. Okay. Now, we also know that B, C, and A are equal to 180. I'm going to write down, we might not need it yet, but we know B plus C plus A is equal to 180. What else do we know? Well, I also know that we also know here that we have a Z. Let's take a look here. I'm going to have my Z. It goes like this, like this. Oops, sorry, like that. So based on my Z, we know that this 47 degrees is going to equal to that A. So if I extended this like that, extended it like that, oops, we would have 47 here. We'll move this up, this parallel line up to reach that parallel line. This 47 would be the same as A. So we know A is equal to 47 degrees. Now let's take a look at the other Z we have. Our other Z goes this way, right? My other Z goes that way. So let's take a look at this Z. Well, I extend this, and this, opposite of the vertex are the same, as long as they're straight lines. Well, I move this up, this B is opposite of the vertex, this is the same as that one, so B is equal to 69. 69 degrees. Now, we look back at this, I know what B and A are. So I have C plus 47, which is A, plus 69, which is B, is equal to 180. Well, what does that make? We have C is equal to, well, 180 minus 47 minus 69. 47 plus 69 is going to give me 100, so we get 180 minus 100 and, 176, or 116, okay? So we end up getting 116, we subtract, and we are going to get a total of 64. So we have 64 degrees for C. There we go. Now we are done that one. So let's take a look at this next question. Question B. Well, let's see. What do we know? Seeing as we're in the Z part, let's see if we know any Z shapes. Can we find any Z shapes for question B? Well, where are my parallel lines? I want to first make known my parallel lines. Here's one, here's the other. Well, can I make a Z? Right there's a Z, isn't it? Yeah. Well, based on our Z, this angle here must be the same as this angle on the Z. So D is equal to 42 degrees. Okay? So if I extended this, remember that straight line rule, this is 42, and then this angle here would be the exact same as that. Hold that down. Okay, so now let's take a look at another. Do we see anything else here? This is a, what kind of triangle is that one? Two sides are the same? Isosceles triangle. So that means this angle and this angle must be the same. So we could say this is E as well. So we know that 42 plus E, because these two angles are the exact same. So if I'm saying that's E, might as well say that's E because it's the same value. It's equal to 180. Okay? So I have 42 plus 2 E's is equal to 180. Well, then I'm going to get 2E is equal to 180 minus 42. So then 2E is equal, so then we get 2E. 2 of angle E is equal to 138. We divide both by 2, divide by 2, and I am going to get 69. Okay? And that's what E is equal to. E is equal to 69 degrees. So now, found E. Now we have to find D and F. Okay. Oh, we found D, so now we just have to find F. Sorry, found D. Well, if I look at this, this here could be E as well because it's an isosceles triangle. E, D, and F is equal to 180. E plus D plus, that over here so we can see, E plus D plus F is equal to 180. Okay? Because of this right here. This, and this is equal to 180. This here is equal to E, so I'm just going to call that E. Alright? So E plus D plus F is equal to 180. Now we know E and D. E is 69 and D is 42. Plus F is equal to 180. So now we're going to add these together, and I'm going to get 111 plus F is equal to 180. So I'm going to continue that, and I will end up getting F, subtract 111 from both sides, is equal to 69 as well. Well, there's probably another way for that, because if we look at the Z, this hits this line at the same point as D. This angle is referred to this angle, because this line here is parallel to that line. If we move this, this F and E are on the same, Sorry, I'll get back to where we can see it. So, there. So if we look at this line is parallel to this line. That means if I move this line here on this line, this F and E are the same. So once we find E, it is the same as F, which is 69. Right there we said it was 69 as well. Okay? So there's actually another way of doing it. There's more than one way of solving most of these questions. All right, so here we go. Co-interior angles. So what are co-interior angles? The C in each diagram is made by two parallel lines. So in this diagram here, I'm just going to zoom out so we can see this better. So C in each diagram is made by two parallel lines. So I have one parallel line here and a parallel line here. This and this are parallel, and this here are parallel. Okay? The angles marked O and X are called coterminal angles. Now, why are they called coterminal angles? Well, if I look at this, this extends, isn't this X go, this would be X. That's the same value of X if I extended it. Vice versa is if we go here, and extend here, well, this line, if we shifted it down, this is O. If I shifted this up, this is X. Well, what do we notice about these two angles? This is a straight line. So X plus O must be equal to 180. Okay? Because it's a straight line if we add those. So let's take a look at example 3. Here will give us some examples of coterminal. So if I have this angle here, we have that's 48. Okay? So measure the remaining three angles. Well, let's first look at the Z. If I look at this here, and I'm going to go like that, and like this. So I'm going to just make it 2. So those angles are parallel, and the other ones are parallel. So can't really make a Z here because it'd have to go there. Well, 48 is kind of similar to this one. If I push this up, but we're going to ignore that right now and just go more simple. So 48 would be the same as this, 48 here. If I push this up, that 48 would equal to that 48, right? So this here would be 48. Now, following that idea, this here, 48, this here is going to be equal to 180 minus 48, because this is a straight line, which will give me a total of 132. So this angle here is actually 132. Okay? Now, the rest I'm going to give numbers, so I'm going to call this A and this B. Alright, so now, once I go from here to here, I'm shifting this orange line over to there. So once again, this 48 is shifted to here. Okay, so this here would become 48. If I move this orange line all the way over there, this would be my 48. So B is equal to B is equal to 180 minus 48, which is the same as 132. Okay? Now we're going to look at the last one, A. Well, I could shift, if we went back and shifted this line up to meet that, well, if I continued that, wouldn't this be, this line would be up here, this would be angle B. Well, angle B is what? Angle B is going to be the same as this. And angle B is 132. Well, then this must be the other one, because we know 132 plus 48 is equal to 180. So this A is equal to 48. Now, if we look at that, this parallelogram, opposite angles are equal. Okay? So corresponding angles are equal. All right, that's one thing there. Okay, so corresponding angles, the opposite angles, are equal. Cointerior angles are supplementary. So this one and this one, those are the cointerior angles, they're supplementary. They add up to 180. And alternate angles are equal. Okay? Now, transverse of two lines such as corresponding angles, alternate angles are equal, cointerior angles are supplementary, so on and so forth. That is your assignment. So your assignment is to look at questions 1 to 9 and good luck.